Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Courtenay Taylor, and I'm here with your boy Galaxy on Comic-Con Radio.
Ready? Go!
Don't worry, K.O. We got your back.
Hey, I'm Courtenay Taylor, and I play K.O.
Guess what? I'm going to become a hero.
K.O. is an incredibly smart, funny, and talented boy
Aw, thanks for the compliment.
who wants to be a superhero, like we all do.
Witness the power of a true hero.
It never hurts to be big about it anyway, like on the show, because the show is not subtle at all.
Right.
You've disappointed me!
Skills.
Whoa!
He really just enjoys life in general, and everything is cool.
That sounds amazing.
He's very positive.
Very positive, finds a lesson in everything.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Thanks, K.O.
K.O. K.O. K.O. K.O.
OK K.O. You fight till the end. You are my best friend. Let's be heroes.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing in for Comic-Con Radio. Coverage of pop culture events from around the globe. Amazing interviews with celebrities. Daily recaps and reviews of popular television. The Walking Dead. Z Nation. Van Helsing. DC Titans. Flash. The Legends of Tomorrow. Black Lightning. American Horror Story. Green Arrow. Movie reviews. Everything Comic-Con and fandom from around the globe. Comic-Con Radio. Get ready to enter our universe. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is your boy Galaxy on Comic-Con Radio. Sorry for the giggling, guys. It's just a giggly morning. Today we have an amazing guest. Her voice is everywhere. You're probably playing a video game right now and you're listening to her. You watch her on the cartoons. You can't get away from her. We have the awesome and the really cool Courtenay Taylor. Courtenay, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's so nice to be with you.
Thank you so much, Courtenay. That is so great to hear. I heard that it's raining this morning where you're at.
It's pouring in LA, so of course nobody's going anywhere. So we're going to hang out.
Nobody's going
Because
anywhere.
I'm not leaving the house.
That's it. You're chilling in the rain. We're chatting in the rain. We're not singing in the rain, but it's close enough, so it's pretty cool.
But close. We might get to singing. We don't know.
There you
Anything
go.
can happen.
We might get to singing. So, I have so many things to get out of you today. You're in such segments of our universe. You're in games, cartoons, commercials, and all sorts, and you're in TV shows and things like that. So you're doing it all. Were you into this as a child?
Actually, I didn't know that voiceover existed when I was a kid, really. I loved kind of seeing all the commercial jingles when they came on TV because, we couldn't fast forward them back then. And my sister used to tease me and call me commercial lady because I would actually recite the commercials along with the television when they were playing. And I didn't really know, I got into voiceover probably 1998, and video games really weren't, they didn't have a huge voiceover component at that point. So it didn't even occur to me that video games were really a thing, or they just weren't in my part of the universe. So I had gotten turned down in an interview for my master's program in New York that I was applying for. The guy had said, my voice was terrible, that it was scratchy, and I didn't have, I had vocal cord nodes. And so I went to one of my teachers at ACT in San Francisco where I was studying, and she said, I think you should try a voiceover class. And I went, and it was a commercial voiceover class, and it completely changed my life. I couldn't believe that people got paid to do this stuff. And even to this day, I love that I get to have so much variety in my work, because I love auditioning for commercials and video games and animation and voice matches, all of that stuff, because each thing has its own kind of little riddle or hook, a way to get into it. So to me, the dreamiest kind of acting, because I get to play so many different kinds of characters in a day, it really keeps me entertained, and I feel incredibly lucky to do this every single day.
That's so awesome to hear. I get so excited when I hear someone succeeding and doing great, and especially falling into it. Like you just fell into it, and that's so cool, and you've gone so far. It's not something just ordinary. You're working and you're doing great and you're living and you're out there and you're in some cool projects. You know, you're not just like, don't get me wrong, commercials are cool, but you're in video games in millions of homes and they're listening to you, and you're in OK K.O. How cool is that?
It's amazing. I feel like OK K.O. has been so much fun. I worked on a regular show for Cartoon Network, and it was so great to come back and work with them on OK K.O. Even in video games, when I play kids, they are, you know, obnoxious like English kids having a food fight and things like that in video games. But K.O. is such a sweet boy. You know, he's 6 to 11 years old. He's kind of all over the map with his emotions, and he gets, you know, he's at that age where he believes that people are really good and that, you know, everybody has the potential to be a hero. It's just such an incredible facet of my job that I really didn't get to experience until I got hired for OK K.O. To have that sweet, innocent character under my belt, along with all the badass bitches and tough girls and you know, spies and things like that. So it's been great to kind of round out some of the stuff I've been doing. It's been really inspirational to start exploring more of those types of characters that just weren't on my radar so much before. So it's been a real gift. And the people, Toby Jones, who I worked with on a regular show, Ian Jones Cordy, they're amazing masterminds of animation. And I think the show's terrific.
So when you're on set, right, doing a voiceover, what goes through your mind when you're at that moment?
Every recording session is different. So, you know, we go into a booth. We're not actually on set for most things. When I'm recording OK K.O., I'm recording in a room with anywhere from 2 to 7 other people. So it's a total party. You get to riff off of other people's energy. You get to riff off their deliveries. It's a totally different experience than being in a video game record where it's just you in the booth for the most part. You know, the material can be a lot more serious. Tones of things vary from project to project, and I really love them all. So if I go in for video game stuff, I'm thinking, you know, I'm running kind of a movie in my head. I'm making up how it looks and who I'm speaking to as we go along, kind of on the fly, because we don't get the scripts in advance. Whereas with the cartoon stuff, I get the scripts in advance. I can make some choices, but then I can also go into the room, and most of the time I'm going to be playing off somebody else. So it's a lot more interactive for me as an actor. And then with commercials even, which I totally love, you know, doing commercials and thinking, what's the tone of this? What are they trying to convey? Not so much like, what are they saying? I'm selling cars or something. It's, you know, what is the emotion that they're trying to get with this spot? What kind of music are they playing? You know, how can I make this fun? How can I make my reads a little different so that, you know, they can, when they edit, they can get a different tone from me if they need it. If they want it a little bit lighter, if they want it a little more heartfelt, if they want it, you know, jokey. So I'm thinking options, and I'm thinking different characters even when I'm doing commercials. So while it has the through line of the same kind of work, there are different nuances for each sort of area of voiceover. And then if I'm doing like a voice match or, you know, some kind of a looping thing, then I'm just trying to follow along with the project and pray to God that I can land the words in the right timing.
What would be a perfect voiceover job for you?
It's funny because I listen to my friends doing their work and I feel like they're the best person to tell that story. And my dream would be to play a cartoon with a very unconventional kind of punk rock girl, age indeterminate, could be anywhere from, you know, 9 to 18, but somebody who's smart, unconventional, looks at things differently. It's kind of a, you know, I've always lobbied for a punk rock Disney princess, which I think was a lot of fun, but I'm really excited and interested to be part of some of the new stuff that's coming out where they are more non-traditional female roles, where you are seeing kids not being kind of pigeonholed into these like classic roles that I'd like to play a tough but smart punk rock princess.
That's pretty cool. There you go. That was the answer. You didn't steal anybody's job. Yeah. You didn't hate on anybody. None of that.
No, I mean, that's the thing is that like voiceover, first of all, it's a really small group of people. My best friends are the people that you listen to on cartoons and video games all the time. And I listen to them and I'm like, damn, they're all, this is a total meritocracy in voiceover. So it's not like, people are getting jobs for any other reason except for that they're great at telling that story, right? So when you hear it, you're like, yeah, they rocked that. I mean, Jennifer Hale, I don't want to take her job. She's amazing. Shari Waldron, amazing. I just want to be alongside them. I don't want to be them.
That's so cool to hear. See, that's awesome. That's an awesome answer. See, I'm all about positive vibes. In all my shows, I want positivity, greatness. But, I like to hear what goes in the mind of everyone, because here's the thing. When you get one, that's amazing. And then you get basically kind of like coined for that character. That's your identity now, and you got to keep going along because shows finish and then new ones start. You're working alongside friends, and it's such a cool thing to hear how this process works and how your mind is, because you just said it. When you're working on a cartoon, you're in a big room with a bunch of people and you're feeding off each other, and then when you're working on a video game, you're in like a silent booth and just doing your thing. These things are so cool to hear. The people out there love to know about these things, and getting it firsthand from someone like you or Carrie Walgren or people like that, it's amazing. And I know she's on a new cartoon right now, right? Carmen Sandiego, which is coming out on Netflix.
Yes. And she's also on OK K.O. with me. She plays Shannon. And that's really the best thing is, my dream job is to have my friends in the booth with me. No matter what we're doing, it's going to be so much fun. We all laugh. We have a great time. People are funny. People are generous. People are kind. So really, I mean, if we want to boil it down, give me a punk rock princess, not even princess, it doesn't even have to be, just punk rock, cool chicks in high school doing interesting things, and have them all voiced by my friends.
That's it. It's going to go out into the Comic-Con universe now, and somebody's listening.
That's right. Somebody start writing it. I'm available.
They're going to do it. I'm telling you, some crazy things have happened from our show, like seasons were extended and all sorts of crazy stuff we've been having premonitions on and wishing, and it happened. It's kind of cool. A punk rock girl would be awesome. And you have been nominated for several awards. That feels so good, probably, right?
Yeah, I have not expected it, but I have ended up in great projects with great writers. So much of all of this is a collaboration. And, no matter how much you study, no matter how much you work on your craft, which you really do have to, because the competition, while they are my friends, they are fierce. You got to stay on top of your game. So many of the things that you do it is a group effort.
Courtney,
and
you got nominated every
unsung
year since 2015. That shows a lot about you. That shows you're amazing. You're that cool chick that you want in the cartoon. That's you. They should just put you, draw you, and have you just voice it, and that's it. Call it a day.
Well, you put it out into the Comic-Con universe. Let's do it.
Fallout 4 and OK K.O. and it's like year after year, and it's amazing. I think it's so awesome.
Well, it's lovely. It's lovely.
That's so amazing. You're so humble. That's so great.
Honestly, not to sound humble, because honestly, I'm not. When I have the opportunity to brag, I will. But I feel like, and this is really truly from the heart, getting to work is my greatest joy. And if there's cake that comes along with it, in the form of an award or some kind of acknowledgement, that's awesome too. But man, I just want to keep working, because I love getting up in the morning and getting to go collaborate with my friends. And when we're not working, we're collaborating on stuff. And, I love what I do. I drove to work yesterday listening to the sounds of wolves howling, because I had to incorporate that into something. And I'm like, this job, I just listened to 13 minutes of wolves howling sadly. And that's research. I just,
you got to do what you got to do, right?
It's an amazing thing. I get to do what I got to do, you know? So it's good, because I don't think I would be very well suited to, for an office job. I think people would get sick of me pretty quickly. So
that's so
you end
cool.
up where you should be, I'm sure.
Of course. No, you've landed in the right area. And what would you give advice for someone new coming in?
My mantra getting into this and just life in general is there's an exception to every rule, so it might as well be me. So when people tell you it's hard or people tell you it's a long slog, they're not wrong. The competition is fierce, but if you truly believe that this is what you're supposed to be doing, you can be one of the few people that get to do it. But a lot of preparation and a lot of continuing to work and study to stay on your game, I think, is imperative. It is not just about getting behind a mic and making silly voices. I mean, even just the adjustment from yesterday, they said, make wolf sounds. And I was like, well, I'll whatever. And I started like practicing a little bit. And I'm like, actually, those are kind of coyote sounds. Coyotes are not wolves. I need to work a little bit harder on this. So I went on YouTube and I listened to, wolf sounds. And it was literally one line in one audition, but it's that kind of specificity that you have to do in order to compete, because the people that you're listening to that are doing this work that are so amazing are really amazing. And they've put a lot of hard work. They've studied and they continue to get to do this, flex their craft every single day. So get prepared to work hard and take classes of all kinds. This is truly acting. So, take an improv class, take a scene study class, learn to break down scripts, learn to cold read quickly, because that's a huge part of what we do. Adjustments get made in video games on the fly all the time. You get the scripts the day of all the time. So follow your heart. And if this is truly the thing for you, absolutely go after it. But, respect it as the craft that it is. And don't jump in before you're ready. There's all kinds of people now that will take your money to do a demo. And I feel like it's really important. You get one shot, so make it awesome. If you're going to send a demo out to agents and directors and stuff, make sure that they, you blow their skirt up, because you only get the one chance.
That's great advice to hear. And it's coming right from the mouth of someone that does this every day. Do you feel a little weird now? Because lately I've noticed a lot of like big celebs that are working in major motion pictures and stuff getting into voiceover work. Do you feel that they're probably going to get an easier door in because they're so-and-so?
Well, the trend is definitely there. And here's the thing is that I feel like if the person is the best person for the job, if they're going to tell the story the best, then it doesn't matter who. If they're getting the job because of who they are as opposed to their talent as a voice actor, yeah, that's a bummer. The upside is that there are a lot more projects now that are voiceover related, because the genre has kind of come into its own. So I think there's more opportunities out there. However, there are more people that want those opportunities, both celebrity and not. So the competition is fierce. It's become more like on-camera acting. When I got into it, people were like, don't you want to do real acting? And now people are like, oh, you do voice acting. I want to do that.
Right.
So it's a double-edged sword. It seems like there's more animated projects out there. It's unfortunate when it's obvious that someone got chosen for their star power as opposed to their voice acting. I mean, there's amazing voice actors who also do what I call face acting. So yeah, I mean, talent is talent, no matter where it comes from. And if somebody's getting hired for some reason other than talent, no matter voiceover, on camera, whatever job you're doing, that's kind of a bummer. You want things to be based on merit, but they aren't always, and that's just part of the business. That being said, it also makes me just go, okay, I got to work harder, because that's another obstacle now. I read against celebrities a lot, and it crosses your mind when you walk in and you're like, oh no, they're so-and-so, but work harder, be better. And, I believe that what is for you won't pass you by.
That's really nice to hear. You eloquently answer everything, and it's great to hear
Well, I'm
that.
not telling you about me slashing their tires in the parking lot.
See, that's what I want to hear. No, I'm just.
Oh yeah,
no.
I'm just scratching their name out on the sign-in sheet. I'm like switching the scripts around. I'm totally like, oh, by the way, this job doesn't actually pay money. Yeah, or like switching the signs on the doors so they go to the wrong place.
So
But
we'll
other than
pay
that,
you
it's
with
fine.
bubble gum.
Exactly. No. I mean, you can't get caught up in that stuff, because acting or any business is going to be you're always going to come across that, and you have to just kind of keep your eyes on your prize.
This is knowledge for them. If this was any other place, you would be charging for this knowledge. So it's free on Comic-Con Radio.
It is. And, there's plenty of opportunities out there to, make your own content, to practice. Like, you can practice on your phone. You can record. There's all kinds of home recording equipment. I mean, kids, it's a cakewalk. Back when I was starting out, it was 8 tracks. No, I'm just kidding.
You're not that
literally,
old. Stop that.
I recorded my first demo in a closet.
Haven't we all?
But, I used to just have to, get out one of those little news recorders.
Of course.
And record myself. And now, you have your glossy iPhone 10.
Ooh.
And it's like a recording studio in your hand. It's awesome. So there's no excuse not to get started and practice. The world is your oyster. You can do this.
The reason why I said haven't we all is because I know they haven't. I have, though. I started in the closet too. So when you said that, I used to put my shirts around and muffle everything. And then that was many, many, many years ago, a decade. But still, everybody starts somewhere. And I miss those times because I did the best work then. Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing, but it was fun. And it's good to come from those backgrounds, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so
Makes
cool.
you appreciate your iPhone 10.
That's it. The iPhone, I'm telling you, has so many cool things. You can edit. You could create videos. So when someone tells me, how do I do it? I'm like, oh my God, there's so many apps for everything. Just do it. That's it. Just do it. Be consistent and never give up. Don't quit. Always push forward. Get advice. Like yourself, I bet you if fans reach out to you, you'll answer questions for them. You're so humble and nice. They just have to do it and not be scared.
Yeah, but also, practice on that stuff and then get a professional to do your demo. Again, you get one shot, so don't mess it up. Make sure that you've put the work in and that you're ready to go and that your materials are top notch. And, don't rush things because it's going to be here.
Yep, you're right. It's not going to get cold like soup, right?
No, it's not going to get cold like soup, and there's going to be more. The robots have not taken over voicing things yet, so you have some time. You have some time to do it right, and make that one shot the best.
Well, the voiceover explosion is here. I've noticed it a lot. Every major movie that I've noticed, that I've seen, every celeb that I've talked to, every actor, everybody, every this and that, I've noticed that in everything they're adding some kind of person or cartoon or image or something that needs voiceover stuff. And everything I'm noticing. Yeah. So the world is there. Competition is fierce, but there's people like yourself in the world of knowledge, and you're willing to help, and you're in that world. And it's really cool to know that people can message someone these days on social media and be like, hey, can you give me advice? And you're gracious enough to reply back and say, okay, unless they're cuckoo and they send you a naked pic, and then you won't open it. But other than that, you will.
Well, Dee Bradley Baker has this amazing site called iwannabeavoiceactor.com that answers a ton of basic questions. And there's also great books out there. There's a lot of great resources. There's stuff online. A lot of times if you reach out to people who are working actors, they're not going to have the time to respond to everybody.
Of course.
But they can, they can make recommendations. I highly recommend. Dee Bradley Baker is one of the best, if not the best in the business. And he graciously made this website so that people would have access to that knowledge. And that right there is a huge resource. And yeah, there's plenty of opportunities. Again, just, treat it like the craft that it is. It really, people will say, oh, people say I have a great voice, I should do this. And, I've been doing it for a long time, and I still take classes, sit in on seminars, watch my friends teach. I mumble, commercials in my sleep, and constantly in life, just trying to, I recorded some lady at the vet the other day on my phone surreptitiously because she just had this crazy delivery and this weird, amazing voice. And I was like, I want to keep that. I want to work on that.
She was probably like, what are you doing?
So if
lady?
she was just talking about her dog. She didn't even notice. And it was so fantastic because there's just inspiration everywhere for this kind of work. And I think I got into it, partially because my dad's Australian and my mom's English, and I had an Australian accent when I was a kid, and I spent so much time trying to like lose my accent or imitate my parents, or, that now I kind of have an ear for, how people speak differently. I'm inspired all the time listening to people's tone and their cadence and their, high voices, low voices, what the psychology is behind your voice. I mean, I can completely nerd out on voiceover stuff, but if you love it like that, keep doing it.
And you said a little bit about your childhood got you into differentiating voices and different things. So your dad is English and your mom is Australian?
The reverse.
The reverse, okay.
My dad's Australian. My
there
mom's
you go.
English, yeah.
So you were born in...
I'm American, but everyone else in my family is from England or Australia.
Nice.
And
so
I lived
hear
in
the
Australia
different...
when I was a kid.
So you hear the different voices, right? Because Australian and English is so different, right?
Right. And I lived in Australia when I was a kid. It's so funny. I look back on things in my life, reciting the commercials and mimicking my parents and things like that, reading out loud, and all of that stuff has kind of come to bear in my career now, which I look back and I'm like, oh, I guess that was supposed to happen.
That's pretty cool, huh?
All of these things make sense. Yeah.
You're reminiscing your childhood in your mind, and you're like, wow, that led to this. I did that for this reason. That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's ultra cool. So in Call of Duty 4, because we have all these geeks and nerds, such as myself, I fall in their line as well.
I love geeks and nerds.
I'm the king geek over here. So you played Scarlett.
It's amazing. I mean, I was so thrilled. I had so much fun doing the audition. I did not know it was for Call of Duty. When I worked on, I think, Call of Duty 2 or something, I was like a Russian soldier. That's sort of what I associated. I associate Call of Duty with military stuff. And so when I did the audition, and it was this really fun few pages about this woman and relationship with her father and this mystery that was surrounding it all, I had no idea that it was Call of Duty. And I just remember, I clearly remember that audition. And sometimes, I audition a lot, and I'll be like, I don't remember even doing this audition. That's, what's happening? That one I clearly remember. The material really stood out to me and was so much fun to prepare. And then I got it, and I was like, yes! And then I realized that it was Call of Duty, and I was like, whoa! It's been amazing. I love working with those guys. I went to their studios, and we had this great lunch where we sat down and talked about, with the four main cast members, just talked about the storyline and what they wanted out of it. So it felt really full. It was really not just kind of coming into the booth and doing the job, where they really wanted us to be on board and understand what the project was. And I'm kind of in love with it, and I hope it's not over, but we'll see.
It's not over. It's not over till Scarlett wants it to be over, and she doesn't. She wants to be in Call of Duty.
And Scarlett does not want it to be over.
She wants to be in Call
Scarlett
of Duty 5.
wants to be in Call of Duty 27.
There you go. Yeah, Call of Duty 99. And by then, your voice will really
Scarlett
change.
will be.
Huh?
Exactly. She'll be like, get down, damn it.
Oh, that was good. You just sound like an old lady. See? That's why you're a voice actress.
You.
Yay. That was good.
I've been doing a few of those things. The last few days I've been working on a few things, and it's frankly harder than it sounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a new guest. Courtney just left. We have Grandma Nellie. Hey, Grandma Nellie, how are you?
Hello. Do you like a penny?
Yes, I would.
I have
Thank
a penny in my purse for you. Here. Oh, you've got a little something on your face. Let me get that off for you.
That's cool. See? Wow.
Well, that's also because I've been working on a couple of, that's part of the job.
That's
couple
it.
75-year-old women.
That's it. And then you said you were in the car acting like a wolf. How does a wolf sound like to you?
Oh, God. My wolf was not great. I'm going to tell you. And there was a lot of, I'm sitting in LA traffic doing the call. Like, it's on YouTube, and And so you're hearing the wolves howl, and then I'm like, and the person next to me is like, okay.
She's crazy.
I see a lot of people putting on makeup. I see a lot of people eating in their cars. I do not see people wolf howling in their cars. But I will say this, that my dog just started barking.
Oh.
So I feel like I got something right on that.
Yeah, if your dog barks, that means you hit the right note.
Yeah. Either that or she's like, that was terrible. Start again.
That's dog language for stop.
Yeah, she's like, go back to school. You said nothing like a wolf.
So, you go to all these...
They're hard critics in this house. I will tell you, my dogs do not like it when I do voices. They will bark and bark.
Oh,
at
really?
me.
Because they don't recognize you, huh?
Yeah, they're not into it. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm working here. I'm trying to make money for kibble. And they're not having it.
They're crazy critics, huh? And you go to all these auditions, like, all the time. You probably go to like a ton of them a week. Would you say that living in Los Angeles is key for going to a lot of auditions? Like, is that the key place?
It depends on what you're working on, but yes, I feel like if you want for me, the important thing about being an actor is to have a lot of options. I want to work every single day. So I want to do all the voiceover jobs. And we have so many, like, almost all the video games are here in LA. There are some out of New York and some out of Texas. And then there are a lot of commercial things here. They're also in Chicago and New York. But I feel like the main place to do everything would be LA. If you are cool to do mostly commercial and a little bit of video game stuff, I think New York. But if you want to do animation, you're going to have to be here in LA. There's some coming out of Texas and other places, but this is really the target-rich environment for a variety of voiceover work, and so I'm staying because I literally just want to get up and go to work 5 days a week doing all the things. So yeah, I feel like if you really want to do this for your career, you're going to have to move to a major hub. You could move to Atlanta. There's stuff coming out of there. There's Dallas. And then obviously, Chicago as well. But the big markets are New York and Los Angeles. So Los Angeles is my jam.
That's it. LA is your jam. And do you go on...
It's the poo-poo platter of voiceover.
That's...
A little bit of everything.
How many auditions do you think you go on a week?
Well, I do a lot of stuff from my house. I have a recording booth here. So there's not that many out-of-house auditions anymore. A lot of, we do a lot of it remotely. But I would say I have on an average day, between 3 and 8 auditions.
Dang, in a day?
Yes.
Wow.
Sometimes more. Very rarely do I have none. But also that's because I am a little bit of a jack of all trades. There are some people who are going to be much more focused on animation or much more focused on commercials. So that's going to be dictated, the material is going to be dictated by their specialty. Whereas I do things like voice matching for celebrities and just for movies and stuff like that. There's all kinds of things you can do. There's looping, there's anime, there's animation. Those are different things. So because I tend to be a little bit of a wild card and book things in every category, I'm not like amazing and just like let's cut that part out. Because I work under all
we'll
these
cut it
different
out, don't
contracts,
worry.
I do get a lot of opportunities. If I just did commercial, I might get less. If I just did video games, I might get less. But because I've also, taken classes and really tried to work on being viable and, doing promos and stuff like that. My agents are lovely and generous, and they give me lots of opportunities to see what I can do. So I'm eternally grateful and sometimes hysterically busy.
That's That's crazy, and that's awesome. So would you say that it's because of your agents you get so many gigs? Because if someone doesn't have an agent, you think it would be a little harder for them to find all these kind of auditions?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you have to have an agent in order to, at least in my experience. I can't. To my knowledge, you have to have an agent in order to like make this a career. Some people might be able to live outside that box, but I think that's sort of the general rule of thumb. And at high level jobs, they're going to be going through agencies. I'm sure there's stuff that you can, smaller projects, or if you're really well known, then maybe you wouldn't need to. But I think that is definitely the reason that I get the variety that I get, for sure, is that I love my agents. They're amazing. And they really believe that I can do a variety of things. And I've been lucky enough to, book in many different areas. So that affects it. That affects how much input and output happen at my booth.
And how would someone get an agent? Like, so for example, say someone doesn't have any voiceover gigs under their belt, nothing. They're starting out, but they're amazing, and they got this really cool reel done that they're like mimicking commercials and this and that. They're just copying stuff that's out there. And do they just go to an agent's office? Do they, how would they find one, without any voiceover gigs under them?
I honestly am probably not the best person to answer that, because
Gotcha.
I have not. When I got into voiceover, the market was so different. I mean, the internet was really not a marketing tool at that point. It was, people were still using postcards and CDs. So I can't speak so much to that, but I can say that the general rule of thumb is, if you are, it's just like an acting reel. I would not make a reel with me doing a scene from Friends playing Jennifer Aniston, because people know that material. They know I'm not Jennifer Aniston, and I might be sending it to Jennifer Aniston's agent, who will be like, actually, my client did that. So for any of the material, I would say make it your own. Write your own material. If you have material, change things on it so that people aren't like, wait a minute, my client does staples. Why is this person saying they do staples? But that's really where the research part comes into it, where you should be looking for current articles on voiceover. There's tons of resources on the internet. There's tons of groups that you can get into and people that can help. But I would, again, just say, being pleasantly persistent is going to help without driving anybody crazy. But do your homework and don't waste anybody's time. If you're wanting to do animation and somebody, is specifically a promo manager, know your target audience, do all your research. You get one chance.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
Always the one chance.
That's so good to hear. The reason why I asked that is because I know the answer, but coming from a pro like you, it's going to resonate big time with everyone. They're going to listen to this episode over and over and over and study everything. I know it. And they're going to email me 1,000 billion times and I'm going to say, I don't know.
It is like, you aren't going to get information from just one person either. It's amazing how many people ask me like, oh, I want to get into voiceover. And I say, okay, go look up this one website and then get back to me. And they don't. If you want one person to tell you how to do it, then you're in the wrong business, because there's a million ways to get into this, but you're going to have to sort of get a lot of information and distill it down and figure out your plan of action, because nobody is going to hand it to you. If you can't do the work to find out how to do it, then this is not the line of business for you, because it's a lot of continuing work. It's a rare person that just doesn't continue their education, doesn't continue to push their limits and their boundaries. And, I'm always trying new accents and trying to work with people and get better. And that should start before you even get into the business. where you should want to be the best. You should want to work the hardest. You should go and grab that information from different sources and then distill it into what works for you.
There you go. You heard it from Courtenay. And that's great advice. Aside from all this stuff, because I know you have a world of knowledge and we could talk about it for hours, you have a group called Nerds Vote.
I do.
What is Nerds Vote?
I do. Nerds Vote is a little group of voice actors. It's myself, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, and JP Carliak. We formed this group. I was chatting with Ashley Birch one night after an OK K.O session. We were having margaritas and chips and guacamole, and we were talking about, I know, it's my dream date, right? Chips, guacamole, and margaritas.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the state of the country and, what we could do and how we could do something that would help. And I said, well, we don't often work with other people. So much of the time we're in the booth by ourselves. And I was like, but we do see people at conventions. And that started me thinking about how I hadn't really seen a lot of voter registration efforts at conventions. And I had reached out to a couple a few years ago, and they had been really hesitant to have anything political on the premises. And so I thought, this isn't political, this is civic. And if we make registering to vote and learning about the issues that face us as Americans kind of fun and sexy, we could, really make a difference at conventions. There's this target-rich environment of people who really love the idea, of good and evil and being heroes and making, we all play games and read comics, and it's all about choices and consequences, and what better people to vote and have easy access to voting than nerds. I started talking to some of my friends who are notable voters, and they were like, yeah, we would totally be behind this. We would help you at conventions. So basically what it is now is a nonpartisan group. We work with headcount.org, just having a voter registration table at conventions. You can go and get cool stickers. You can buy shirts. You can register to vote. You can update your address. And it's just a movement to get people to the polls. It's not about telling people how to vote. It's just telling people, hey, you have a voice. You have a choice. Let's use it. And let's make it something that you do every time there's an election, not just when it's the president. We have the choice to steer this country. And I think that making that choice to do that, getting involved, and also getting to reach out to some of your favorite actors on social media and share that really changes your association with your civic duty. Then it becomes civic pride, and it becomes something that you can chat to Jennifer Hale or Tara Strong, or, Mandy Moore had stickers on. Mark Ruffalo was wearing a Nerds Vote sticker at New York Comic Con. It's a conversation starter. It's a way to bring people together. It's a way for people to get educated. And it's really not anything, it is nonpartisan, 100%. We just want to get people to the polls and get people proud of doing their civic duty.
How many members do you have right now?
Well, it's just the three of us that do the main Nerds Vote stuff, but we work with different organizations. We work with Headcount. We did a promotion with the Rook and the Raven. They published Notebook. They did a special Nerds Vote notebook for us last year. We work with TeePublic to make our T-shirts, which are super cool. It's a Nerds Vote in red and blue, and then taped up glasses in the middle. And we're doing all kinds of new swag for this coming year. And we've also worked with the guys from Critical Role on Twitch. It's a D&D show, and they actually had us on, and we did a pre-election day party where we had election-themed cocktails and snacks, and we did a little exercise where we had some of their D&D characters running against each other. And we did the research on who was the best candidate in a group and just had a great time. We had some cocktails, and it was really fun. It wasn't really about people agreeing. It was just about people being like, hey, this is what's important to me, and this is why I'm voting for this candidate. Cool. So it's been really fun to work with those guys as well. And there's more collaborations coming up this year. It's there's no midterms or presidential elections this year. So this year we're bringing our focus to local and state elections where, people can vote for things that directly affect them on the local level. School stuff, if you have kids, judicial stuff, if, crime and justice is your concern, these are really important things. And so we're going to be educating people about that. And we're also kicking out the jams on cool new T-shirts and pins and stuff like that. So that'll be coming on our website, nerdsvote.com, fairly soon. We're getting together this weekend to mastermind all of that.
That's really cool. Well, we're here. Let us know. Tag us, send us information, and we'll send it out to our diehard fans. That's such a cool thing you're doing. It's such a different thing,
and it's really
but so cool.
Linked with nerd culture. You know, it's really linked.
Nerds for life.
Focusing on the stuff. It's focusing on the stuff that we all love, and the people who make those characters come alive are a big part of it. We have notable nerds at mini conventions, and it's like so nice to be able to talk to somebody about something, you know, where you can really connect. I mean, if I were talking to Mark Ruffalo and I wasn't, or Steve Bloom or Tara Strong about voting, and they were encouraging me, you know, I would have a totally different association with that when it came time to vote. I would feel like, you know, we have a connection. I got to go do this. And the great thing about social media is that people post pictures of them in their Nerds Vote gear or with their I voted stickers. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Nerds Vote and Facebook at Nerds Vote USA. And so we get all kinds of great, you know, back and forth with folks sending us cool pictures and talking about it in a really respectful, cool way that we're all in this together, you know. So let's do our part.
You're making a big difference. Voting is important, especially what's going on right now. I don't like to talk about politics. Every time it gets into that world, I'm like, I don't know, because I don't follow it. I love Comic-Con stuff. That's it. And
absolutely. It's the sweetest thing to see people doing the things that they do at Comic-Con, you know, dressed up, wandering around, you know, but just getting information and being proud of getting involved. And, you know, to me, the first time I saw one of our booths at a convention, you know, with people standing in front of it, you know, with cool signs, and there was blow up T-Rexes and all kinds of, you know, Street Fighter characters and stuff like that. I was like, man, this is amazing. This is why I love this culture so much, is that, you know, you can do anything, you can be anything, and you also have like this pride and this thirst, you know, this curiosity. So I think it all works really well together, politics aside.
That's what I was trying to say. It's such a cool thing, you know. It's not politics to me. It's just a bunch of cool people. Us nerds are cool. And here's the thing. Being a nerd doesn't mean you have to look a certain way. A nerd is an internal thing. It's a mind thing. It's a universe thing. So if you're a nerd, but you're like, I don't look like one, if you think you're a nerd, you're a nerd. And if you like to vote, you vote. And Nerds Vote is cool. It's such an important thing you're doing. And conventions are the best places to do this. And now you're coming out with shirts and all sorts of cool stuff. And you have nerdsvote.com. That's amazing.
Thank you. It's been really fun to marry the things that I love together all in one package. And again, I get to work with two of my best friends on it, and we get to, you know, meet all kinds of great people. So it's just one more thing to bring people together.
Do you have any projects coming up that you can share with us?
I hate this question.
I always say this.
I know, I hate this question. I have an animated series I've been working on that I can't, two of them, but I can't say. I've got a super cool video game that's big coming out, but I can't say. Nerds Vote is going to get enamel pins, I hope. Yeah, I literally can't tell you about anything.
I'm not going to squeeze you either. Don't worry. I won't squeeze you.
Well, here's the thing, is that I'm an old pro at the NDA stuff. So you can squeeze all you want. You'll get nothing from me. You can absolutely, I put stuff on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook as soon as I can talk about it. But I generally have to get an email typed in blood from the producer before I can say anything, because
yeah, right.
That's just the way it goes. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I still have to ask, because some people have stuff just coming out in a week or two. But so you have 2-3 things. You have to get it in blood, and you'll let us know on your social media. What's your social media?
Mm-hmm. Well, my name is spelled strangely. So if you're trying to find me, make sure that you punch in Courtenay. It's Courtenay, at Courtenay Taylor on Twitter. I'm at Courtenay Taylor LA on Instagram, at Courtenay Taylor News on Facebook, and CourtenayTaylor.com. But I generally am on Twitter the most. That's where I'll drop stuff when I can. Obviously, if I have an opportunity to circle back with you, I'll let you know. But I sometimes wish that they would give us a little more leeway to talk about things before they come out. And I know it's hard because we can't give away any secrets. But one day they'll start letting us know in advance, and we'll be able to sing it from the rooftops. But
I don't think that'll ever happen that day.
I know. But a girl can dream.
Yeah, you can dream. You can dream and you can have your wishes. But that's cool. Yeah, it's Courtenay. And we're going to put that in your episode so that way they know. And you're on Instagram and you have your own website, Courtenay Taylor. Well, let's say Courtney, but I'm going to pronounce it like that. And it's COURTENAY. Taylor's TAYLOR. Wow. This has been so much fun.
Thank you. I had such a great time chatting with you.
Oh, that's sweet. Is there anything you want to say to the fans out there before we do our closing?
Yes, I want to thank the fans out there. First of all, there are fans of all the different franchises that I've been working on, and you guys are amazing all in your own right. It's so great to see different types of fans for different types of franchises, and I feel super lucky to get to know such a broad cross-section of people, and I'm super thankful for people who just support me across all of those platforms. You guys are amazing, and I love hearing from you on social media. I hope I will get to see you. Actually, here's a little gem. I'll be at KatsuCon February 15th through the 17th in Baltimore, D.C. area. So I hope that you guys will stay on top of my con schedule and come say hi. I love to meet people in person. And just thank you for supporting what I've been doing. You are a huge reason that I get to go to work every day. And my heart just goes out to you with tons of gratitude and love.
They love you too. It was great to have you on the show, Courtney. You're a professional. You're a shoe addict. You're a founder of Nerds Vote. You're a cool all-around lady that's making it happen.
We didn't even get to talk about my shoe addiction. Come on.
we didn't get to talk about that, right?
No. You'll have to have me back on. We'll talk
We will.
about
We would love to
addictions
have
of
you
shoes.
back on. The door is open for you
I love it.
24/7, 7 days a week. You don't even need to ask. Just a message. Kent will be like, boop, you're in. That's it.
Thank you, Galaxy. That's so sweet of you guys. This was a pleasure.
Well, we're going to do our closeout now. So, ready? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Galaxy with Courtenay Taylor. We're signing out Comic-Con Radio. Now, we're going to give you our kisses. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Mwah. Bill, kisses.
Mwah.
Whoa, Courtenay
Mwah,
kiss.
mwah, mwah.
That's it. Next time you're playing video game, take her kisses and get yourself some energy. We're signing out. Thank you guys for listening. Love you all.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing out from another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Tune in for your daily shows of Comic-Con Radio. Go to comiccon-radio.com. Reach us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Comic-Con Radio. You can call us toll-free right now. 800-976-0305. 800-976-0305. Comic-Con Radio, taking the world one listener at a time.